Alrighty, we are going live. Our microphone is working. Everything seems to be up to par. So let me put our title in for today. It is Thursday, May the 9th. Boy, time is flying, isn't it? So much is going on so fast. Let me put in here Clear Blue Radiance with myself. And our topic for today is if you jump into another timeline, what that way what would you choose to create? Let me make a correction in our spelling. uh, there she is, Jackie. It's going to be a very interesting topic to discuss today, and this is going to be, see what's popping on here. Okay, there we go. Yes, this particular topic is going to be very interesting because it's been a question that's been on my mind and something that I had been researching for some time now and striving to gain a better understanding of how it actually works. But I believe that most of us have done this from time to time when we are dreaming, when we are having a lucid dream, meditation for sure, uh, just sitting down and contemplating things for long periods of time, as well as doing the necessary research to study and then try to apply it. So, before I get started, I guess I should say greetings and welcome to my original podcast channel here called Clear Blue Radiance. I've been a spiritual counselor for over 40 plus years, and I enjoy helping people such as yourself gain greater clarity in your life and to discover your purpose. If you already know what your purpose is, to help you redefine that purpose. Because as we evolve, so does the purpose. We evolve, the purpose changes slightly or changes completely because we're on a path of remembrance. And our true journey is to understand why we are on this path, doing the things that we are doing. And as they say, try to have fun along the way. Good afternoon there, Golden Timeline 711. So, if you jump into another timeline, what would you choose to create? And I thought about that, and I was typing away 2 hours earlier, 3 hours earlier, trying to get this all together. First, are we jumping out of fear or assurance that we know why we are jumping? That was like the first question that came to mind. A lot of people are living fearfully because there's so much going on in the world around us. And because there's so much going on in the world around us, the fear fuels whether we stay put or we move forward or we get out the way or we run and hide or we get angry. Some people get drunk out of their brain. They get so high that they can't make sense of anything. And these things do happen. And I blame no one because it is not easy to get to a point where you can see who you are just for yourself, let alone for everybody else around you. So many of us may do things out of fear of seeing our life wasting away, feeling like we're in a rut. That happens when we think of like career ruts, you know. I think wagon wheel, the old frontier wagon wheel, another name for wagon wheel is rut. Okay. And there's no true value. So we don't have a value. We can't see a value. It's hard to access it for what it is because we just got a lot of things going on in our mind. But we have to contemplate deeply our choices. We have to realize why we're not moving, or why can we do that? Why can we jump from one timeline into the next? Well, what is a timeline? A timeline can be considered to either be linear or circular. When we were taught as children, like in what, grade school, middle school time range, probably fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth grade, high school for sure, and college, especially the earlier years, long before computers were being instituted, we were shown that timelines, historical timelines, happen side by side across all land masses and civilizations. But they were taught as the Alpha and Omega. It had a beginning and it's got to have an end because we can't seem to find when the civilization died out. We can't, or we might know when it died out, but is it really dying out? Maybe because of some kind of deluge, you know, like great earthquakes may stop a civilization of people, right? Great earthquakes, tremors, you name it, droughts, you name it, can stop a civilization from advancing, but it can still record itself because it's always leaving something behind. Astrology teaches us, with also numerology, teaches us that things are circular. They're not really linear. So therefore, we experience eras of time, which are arcs of time on the big wheel. And these arcs of time are degrees. And so every degree is speaking to us within a sign. There's 30 degrees. That's how it's been mapped out, right? 30 degrees. And there's 12 of those 30 degrees. We also always have a choice. So every day we get up and we have a choice. We make some decisions after maybe studying or reading or writing something to get our mind together. Maybe we're recording our dreams that we can remember from the night before. Maybe we had a meditation in the morning that allowed us to record that, some of the highlights of that. Maybe we experienced an out of body thing, uh, energy, and we're trying to write about that, trying to describe it. Whether that choice is to make a move or not, we have to decide to do something. So, but here's the kicker, right? You can decide to make a move, to move forward. Hey there, everybody. Or you could just stay where you're at and not make a move. Maybe wait for the next cycle of time to arrive, the right conditions to arrive, the right people, the right aspects, everything. So we don't have to do anything. We don't have to jump around. Decisions are left up to us as to what to do, when to do, why to do it, how to do it, and where. Where the heck are we going with this? Here's the thing, though. We have to understand that we are creative beings who are an integral part of the divine source. We are alive as rays of light or particles of light emanating from the heart of the divine source. We are the ones who are remembering. We are the ones who are dreaming. We are the ones who have lucid dreaming. We are the ones that are having out of body experiences, which they refer to as astral traveling because they're going into the astral belt of energy. But you don't have to go there. Akhenaten and Nefertiti said you can go into the soul belt. You could go into the divine mind, the substance of divine mind, which is the brothers and sisters from the East call Akasha. That's the substance of the divine mind. You could go there and trace yourself as a path in that element and discover what you were doing eons ago, what you're going to be doing in the plausible future, what you're doing right now, moment to moment. You can see all of that reflected inside the Akasha. You could go there and realize that you are having a communication with what is known as your higher self. You can discover that you are the higher self. Mainly, the easiest way to discover that you are the higher self is either through contemplation, but definitely through meditation. Because through meditation, that's where you find out who you truly are. That's when you can release a whole lot of baggage that you no longer have to carry around. That's when you could see the lies or the rumors that you may have placed or others may have placed upon you. You can let it all go. It's your wall. The meditation room is in you, and you could go in there and start feeling around. So here's something, I wouldn't say it's an original concept of thinking, but it just makes sense. And many people may have shared the same similar words. When you are in a deep state of meditation, you are entering into a state of deep awareness and knowing the truth in all events, thoughts, feelings, and so forth. By using meditation, you can trigger yourself to be in a conscious state of perpetual meditation. We're in a constant state of perpetual movement. The planets are swirling around the sun, and this sun in the sky is swirling around another sun. So this sun is supposed to be in the middle, right? So it's moving around another pocket of energy. And all the planets in their orbits, as they say, is moving around this sun in the sky. At least that's what has been said. But when you start having an out of body experience, you start seeing things a lot differently. You start understanding the black holes or the wormholes and going through all these different passageways within your own mind, which is embedded deeply with the divine mind. And then you realize you're in two worlds at the same time, three worlds at the same time, four worlds at the same time, and so on and so forth. And you're the one that all this energy is passing in and out of. Conscious perpetual meditation happens when you are aligned through your chakras, which are then aligned to the hearts of Mother Gaia and the universe. This is exactly what the ancient master yogis, Qigong masters, and masters in history known as Siddhartha Gautama and Paramhansa Yogananda and many other people. There are many women who have gone into the deeper voids and come back out with the information and the truth, right? So use your meditation to sense, feel, see, and create the desired life. That's what Neville Goddard, Dr. Michael Bernard Beckwith, Florence Scovel Shinn, Louise Hay, all these people have been talking about for ages. Dr. Wayne Dyer, Who else is in that list? We're not even touching the list of the occult magicians. Um, who else can we pull out of there? The late Reverend Ike. All these people. He would always say, let the feeling get the blessing. He says, once you're there, mentally projecting or know that you're out of the body, you're going to feel things, not just see it and record it in here, but you're going to see the events as they unfold. All life as information is felt, discovered, explored, and embraced through the true center of becoming, knowing, and being, and that is the heart. The heart is the place that experiences everything. So you think of it, some of the terminology in computer schools. Oh, you got to look at the motherboard. We're gonna build a motherboard. Well, what is the motherboard? The motherboard is not just all those pathways up here. The motherboard is really the heart. There's somewhere on that motherboard that's something that's really called the heart that's making everything spin out. That's really putting the information out. So as we begin to see this, we begin to understand this. Everything is in perpetual motion, eternal motion. Even if it appears to be floating in the sky, it's still moving because something is moving around that thing that's floating there in the sky. We have perpetual motion. We can experience that if you, let's say, you're on a plane or a boat. Everything is stabilized so you can get up and walk around. But if you're sensitive to some things, you can feel the current. You can feel the plane actually move. You can feel the boat on the sea actually move. And it's already been proven that if you're moving at the speed, the same speed as the plane is, if that plane should stop, you don't stop. You're the one because you're not tied down or seated or belted down. You're gonna go wherever that thing was going. Everything is constantly in motion. We just don't notice that it's in motion because when we cast our eyes up on the clouds, we can just barely make out some movement. And then you could then look at a cloud and see an image or a face in the cloud, look away, get your camera, want to take a picture, and it's gone. That fast, the time it took you to get the camera or on your phone and press everything into place, it disappeared. So we only see something when we put our mind on it. We only know a cup is a cup because billions of people agreed that a cup is a cup in a different language. But if some of us start to disbelieve or not take it in, then those things that have collected to form that thing called a cup will what? They have to split. They have to melt away. They have to divide and slip away and be no more because the energy traveling around the world, traveling around the universe is saying cups do not exist. Our physical form does not exist. Everything within it does not exist. And because we would put that in motion in our thinking, then the one who sees it, who understands it, will know, well, this thing can change. I don't have to accept a doctor saying I am sick. No, that doctor's saying I'm sick. But the doctor's not me. The doctor's not a spiritual form. The doctor's not understanding unless they're in a Masonic order or an Eastern Star group, then they would understand that we are a star being and we're not some phony baloney makeup thing rolling around on the earth with no consciousness. And sometimes people, without me just hopping on it too much, I have a lot of friends and cousins that are in Masonic orders and things. And when they got into those things, they used to roll up on me and say all kind of stuff until I got into numerology and knew their date of birth and started telling them a few things while they were busy picking on me with their little keywords. They couldn't answer me. I could describe people in their life, locations in their life. I could read the house number, apartment number, and then tell them, if you're not sure that I'm saying this, ask your neighbor what sign are they born under. Ask a whole bunch of them. Since you're friends with a lot of neighbors in your apartment building, ask them. Just in casual conversation. Then those cousins who used to look down upon me said, how you get all that information? I said, I meditate on it. I read about it. I meditate on it. I read about it. I meditate on it. I read about it, meditate on it, and apply it. Now I read about it, I meditate on it, and I apply it. And what I applied, I go back and meditate, and I contemplate on that. And I just keep doing it. And I'm not under oath to do it. I do it because I enjoy doing it. So we get into this thing within ourselves. If you have perpetual motion, perpetual meditation, perpetual constantly thinking and saying and doing, eventually you're going to create the environment. That's why the question is, if you jump into another timeline, whether it's linear or circular to you and your consciousness, what would you choose to create? Well, first of all, before you create anything, before you jump into it, peer into it to see what's in there, like a crystal ball. Start studying to see what's in that particular timeline before you jump into the timeline. Can you read the pattern that's in the timeline of events? That's what those of you that know cardology, astrology, evolutionary astrology, you know all these different roadmaps through the tarot card, handwriting analysis, the use of gemstones, the use of herbs, seeing how herbs grow on the earth under certain conditions. When you can see all of that in there, see some aspect of it, all you need is basically 75% of it, 75 to 90% of it to see where it's going. When you're able to see how the thing is going, you stand a better chance than just somebody going into it not knowing anything. You can make corresponding analysis. Oh, I see something in timeline 344. I'm looking in there. Oh, look at that. There's something coming into the picture that belongs in timeline 226. Oh, 344, 226, double digits, master number 22, 44. How can I put this together? How can I work this thing out? 2 plus 3 is 5. It means change, adapt. So I will adapt my level of consciousness to what I'm understanding to be in that specific timeline, but I don't have to accept everything that I see in the timeline because I may not use it. We're in the current timeline. We don't use everything in this current timeline. There's a lot of things we haven't even touched in the current timeline that we set aside. But we see all these political events going on, all these possible wars and some wars going on, and wars we don't even know about going on. And those things alone will act as a catalyst to do what? Push us into another timeline or keep us stuck in the one that we're in. Billions of people on the earth exercising rights, not exercising rights, but who? There's man man-made rights they're exercising. But you don't have to exercise no right other than your own. What's that? A birthright. The one that's hooked you up to the universe. Now, when we say a birthright, I'm not talking about like the Moorish birthright. You just a Moor. No, you beyond that. You're beyond being Chinese, Japanese, Moorish, Afghanistanian, whatever term, Romanian, huh? A person from Ghana, Nigeria. You're beyond all of that. Germany, Hungary, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Slavic people. You're beyond all of that. You lived there through all of them already. We lived all of those things already. Now we're getting back to what's more natural to do. Is not to be consciously stuck in this world all the time. There are various institutions that are already set up designed to keep you from exploring outside yourself and keeps you from exploring inside yourself. I don't know if many of you, maybe in the New York area when I lived there, after 9/11 hit and all that stuff was supposedly cleared out of the atmosphere, none of it was really clear because people still had no choice of their own, ingested pulverized glass and metal and rust and gas fumes and oil. All of that was in the air constantly in people's lungs, and many people didn't live. Some people appeared to live, 2, 3 months and died 2, 3 years later because of all that stuff that they were forced to inhale to try to keep it moving, right? You show all those people walking across bridges because the bridges weren't down, but they could walk across the bridge to get home because that's what they knew to do. But I remember at one point, people were forced to do something different after that point. We're forced to pay greater attention after that initial situation. And I remember being in a car for months after, going between Long Island, New York City, into New Jersey, where I was teaching every Friday night, guiding people through the original seed stage foundations of my creative pathwork meditations every Friday night to an audience of anywhere from 26, 27 people to almost 30, 38 to 40 people in a room. The owner used to get mad at me. He said, Rev, you're going to be here too long. I said, man, you live around the corner. I have to eat. I'm glad they're here. And I'm going to read every last one of them. So, but we were driving across the George Washington Bridge, which is, you pay that toll only when you come back from Jersey into New York, not going out from, from New York to New Jersey. You ain't going to pay a toll, which is funny, right? You don't pay the toll going to Jersey, but you pay the toll coming into New York. Crazy, right? Should go both ways. But anyway, the interesting factor was they had a color chart set up. And on the color chart at the top, they had, if I can remember exactly how it was set up, it was really connected to the chakras. So when they had this board lit up, I believe the top line was blue. Then the next one was green. And then they had it like a chart. One line was blue, second line was green, the next line was yellow, the next line was orange, the next line now you saw was red. And of course, you saw red, that's the emergency. If that board showing are bright red at the bottom, and ain't nobody getting on that bridge. You have to turn around and get off. Blue, nothing happening. Green, nothing happening. But if you got down when that board was lit, yellow, they're thinking about something. But here's what I found out from doing meditation. Those were 5 colors. The colors you didn't see were magenta, and the color you didn't see was purple. So that would give you then what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. But you didn't see black on there. You didn't see gold on there. You didn't see silver on there either. So 5 that they would show you, 5 that they didn't show you, and then of course the board was white. That was the board. So that's 11. And I was telling my student, he was saying, my spiritual son, he was saying, Pop, what do you think that means, Guru Papa? That means the ones that you don't see on the board is the ones that they're working on, which has to be you. Let's see if we can block the purple, the crown. Let's see if we can block the base of the skull, magenta. Let's see if we can block the soles of their feet. Let's see if we can block the inner vibration of gold sitting in the solar plexus. Let's see if we can shut off the voice of silver and their hearing, silver. And white, we just make it as plain as day. We're not doing anything. White's a neutral color. We're not bothering anybody. These things were being done not sporadically, they were done 24/7. They have even had the news reporting, oh, the board is lit at blue, everybody. Oh, the board is lit at green. Everything's okay. Oh, it's yellow. Be cautious, watch around yourself. See anybody leaves a bag, report it. Somebody left their bag behind because these terrorists could still be in the city dropping these, book bags full of bombs. We were forced to think a certain way. But I remember almost catching the fear behind that. And then I said, what am I being fearful about? Nothing has happened yet. Then I started realizing, well, nothing happened yet because you're a guy that sits in meditation. And you'll know while you're in meditation, you'll pick up on the vibe before it's put out there, before it's planted, before it's discussed, and then planted. These things are happening all the time. Nothing has stopped since then. Things are still going on. Nothing has been shut down or shut off. Things are still going on. Why? Because they're in operation. Why? They're using mind control techniques to try to figure out who's who. I told somebody not too long ago, I think it was one of my nieces, elder nieces, I said, make sure you communicate to the rest of them. They can be out there in the protest, but pay attention. Because there's things digitizing their appearance there. Can digitize their face, can look them up, and then track them right to exactly where they live. What can neutralize all of that is meditation and make it perpetual. Be conscious. We can be like our greatest ancestors who would get up out of meditation, go have a meal, still be in meditation, bathe themselves, still being in meditation, living a life of a perpetual, ongoing meditation where they could see across the plains and the horizons. They could look across and they could see what's going on. They could read the elements in the heavens. They could read the current of the water on the land. They can tell by the way the animals are moving around that something is happening. We must become like the rest of nature, tuned into everything. When we are like the rest of nature, tuned into everything, we become a phenomenal star being, one who has every element of the sun and the moon within them working full throttle, untouched, purely magnetic and electrical, where we are communicating with ourselves. I'm not talking about communicating with somebody else's cells down the hallway. I'm talking about communicating with my cells, because my cells see something different than my eyes. They hear something different than my ears. They feel something different from me just out of touch and smell and taste. We are now understanding that we don't have to download anything. We upload everything. You pull up the truth, the information, the data. Everybody has a piece of the pie. Some people have a little more because they've been truly seeing and sifting and acknowledging and embracing and traveling. That's why you're supposed to study lucid dreaming, to learn to know the difference between just a regular dream where you're unconscious of stuff going on, where you have a lucid dream and the body is asleep, but you consciously are wide awake in the dream world. Now you can sit there and see how it all comes and goes, how it's built up, how it's torn down, what parts are missing, if any parts are missing, who's involved, who's not involved, who you get along with, and who you don't get along with. So now when you jump the timeline, you can create as you please. You just understand the different parameters that set it up. Then you might realize one day, all of us will realize that we created the timeline. We all created the matrix. We wanted to have some fun. We dropped out of the divine mind world and the divine heart world. And we said, well, we're going to be bored down there. Let's create something. And then we put the ultimate in. Let's now forget. And now we think, well, why did we do that? If we had left that element in, that when we showed up through the womb process and all of that, we would have woken up when the baby, we got smacked, boom, wake up, and you got it all. You came with it, now you can exercise it. We can do anything. We just have to be willing to do it. People say, do it for the loved ones. Yes, for the loved ones. Do it for the family members. Yes, for the family members. Do it for your favorite neighbor, friends and family, and coworkers. Yes, for them too. But most of all, do it for you. Because you're the one that has to be responsible for that which you are creating. Become more aware of what you create, more responsible for what you create. Then all things will be what? Done unto you, will be given to you, because you're doing it in a specific order for yourself. You're ordering up the new life. The life is already there. It has seeds in there for you to touch. It has buttons in there for us to touch. As rock, I've got everything in there. We just have to figure out which ones we're going to bring to life and work with it. Here's some other things that's going to be happening. People who were super close to you, who you had a uncanny feeling about, that they weren't really close to you, that they were just watching you, you're going to cut them loose. You're not going to have that element in the shadow watching you. You're going to release them. Where are you going to release them? To their highest good. To their original point where they came to do things and then they went all over the place. Because you don't have to carry their burden anymore. When you're not carrying someone else's burden, you're just carrying your own. Now it's easier to work out. Now you can go, oh, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm just going to sleep, lounge around, watch some movies, some TVs, do some readings, go for my walk, talk to the animals, talk to the plants, talk to the trees. Just go to a place where I can sit down and have some tea or whatever and talk to the store owners like I always do. Keep an eye out. Just going to do my basic routine and then I'm going to come back home. You're going to do that which you need to do to make your life better and better and better and better and better and better till you get to the point where it's the best that's happening for you. That's my message for today. I don't want to sound like I'm preaching. I just got so much inside I got to get out. I want to thank you all for joining me today. Jackie Fillmore, Antoine, Golden Timeline, 7-Eleven, Barbara Ewing. Yes, hello, star beings. This is who we've been waiting for. This is why we are here. We're going to continue to learn and do all the things that we need to do, share our concepts and ideas with each other, make each other happier, because we're already going to be happy because we're going to make ourselves happy anyway. I love you all. See you all next week, wherever I'm supposed to see you. I'll see you. Take care of yourself. Have a pleasant Mother's Day, everybody. Mother Barbara, Mother Golden Timeline, Mother Jackie, Grandmother Jackie, Auntie Barbara. You all have a splendid Mother's Day. And I know there's some other people on here that are probably watching at different angles. So I'm going to say Happy Mother's Day to Melanie Hall down there in Melbourne, Australia, that gets on here and watches us. Happy Mother's Day to Samira Woods. Happy Mother's Day to Linda Garcia. Happy Mother's Day to Michelle Vidal, who put this, here so I can do this. Happy Mother's Day to everybody. See you again. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your life. And until next time, remember that divine grace is a blessing as we're alive and well in the age of remembrance. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye now.